Guys, a lot happened over the weekend. Let's do a quick roundup. Now, we are going to take a look at what Carragher had to say about Mohammed Kudus, stating that what is happening to West Ham is the fault of Kudus. I'm going to tell you what he said exactly. We're also going to talk about Thomas Partey and also Arsenal, talk about Nketiah, and also talk about Ayew, amongst many others. But before we jump into it, don't forget to like, subscribe, and also turn on notification. My name is Adam. You're watching SportsCornerGH. Quickly, let's jump into it. Let's begin with the star boy. Now, West Ham played against Nottingham Forest in the English Premier League, where they lost by 2-1. Mohammed Kudus played in that game. I did my own reaction concerning his performance, so please check the channel and watch that. Now, let's talk about what happened after the game. On Sky Sports, Carragher was a pundit, and he talked about West Ham and also talked about Mohammed Kudus. Now, this is what he said exactly, and please, you can see it on your screen. You can read, but I'm going to still read it out loud so you can hear exactly what he said, and let me know your thoughts about it. Now, this is what he said. He says that there's no doubt that he's a quality player who should be playing for a team closer to the top of the table, not near the bottom. But probably one of the reasons why West Ham are where they are this season is because he hasn't shown the form that he showed last season. Last season, he looked fantastic. He just hasn't looked the same player this season. This is what Carragher said. Let me know whether you agree with it or not. For me, I agree with the first part of the statement, stating that Kudus has the quality to play for a team who sits above on the EPL table. That's 100% correct. Arsenal, Newcastle, Liverpool, Man City, Kudus, with the quality he has, should be playing for those teams. But I also disagree with the second part of the statement that states that West Ham are where they are because Kudus has not reached the heights he reached last season. Last season, we should ask ourselves, the coach who was there last season is not there anymore. Some of the players who were there last season are not there anymore. So there are new coaches, new philosophies, and also new players. Definitely, the dynamics of the team is going to change. Also, blaming Kudus solely by Carragher is a wrong thing to do. Football is a team sport. Even if Kudus has the form to be scoring goals, what about the defenders? Because this season, West Ham themselves have conceded a lot of goals from individual mistakes. For example, yesterday, the goal they conceded, the first goal they conceded from Nottingham Forest was a goalkeeper mistake. How do you blame Kudus for that? Even if Kudus scores a goal, definitely that defense ends up considering another goal. So it's like +1, -1. So how do you blame Kudus for that? Yes, Kudus has not turned up the way he should this season. Last season, he did very well. This season, it hasn't gone like that. But that is why it's a team sport. The team needs to be there for Kudus in this hard time so that Kudus can be there for the team when the team is also facing hard time. We also Kudus play for West Ham against Liverpool, played extremely well. Nobody can deny the fact that he played extremely well in that game. But there are other games where Kudus' strength would not match. That is where the team needs to support. But here lies the case, the team is not supporting. But Kudus is trying his best. It's not working. How do you blame Kudus? West Ham as a whole this season has not performed very well. So what Carragher is saying that Kudus is the reason why West Ham are where they are, I'm going to say that is wrong. West Ham are where they are because of West Ham. They changed coaches from Lupiteki to Graham Potter. They brought in new players. They sold some of their valuable assets and brought in new players. Yes, Kudus did a mistake at the beginning of the season against Tottenham where he overreacted and he got punished for it 5 games. And we all know what happened afterwards. He was sorry, he apologized and everything. Psychologically, he wasn't there. But afterwards, he has been trying to do his best to come back to the form he had last season. And I believe he's going to finish the season strong. So for what Carragher said, I don't agree with it. But then let me hear from you down below in the comments. Now, let's move away from Mohammed Kudus and talk about Arsenal. Arsenal beat Newcastle United by 1-0. That means that Arsenal have secured a spot for UCL in next season. It is confirmed. Now, this is good for Thomas Partey only if he's able to extend his contract with Arsenal. Up to now, we have not had any confirmation as to whether Arsenal has agreed terms with Thomas Partey's camp for a contract extension. We heard a few weeks ago that talks have begun. Up to now, they have not concluded on anything yet. And it pains me a lot because this is dragging out too much. Now, not only that, on Saturday, Nketiah was the talk of town because Crystal Palace beat Manchester City to win the FA Cup. And a lot of people are saying that he left Arsenal to win a trophy with another team. And apparently, a lot of players have left Arsenal and won trophies in other teams. Nketiah was trending on Saturday. On Sunday, even today, he's still trending. Now, the reason why Nketiah is trending today is because of his connection to Ghana. Now, a lot of people believe that if he's able to win a trophy with Crystal Palace, this is a trophy winner, an FA Cup winner who is going to play in the Europa League next season. Why don't Ghana reconsider him for the squad? It's not coming from me, it's coming from people on social media. Now, this season in the FA Cup they won, Nketiah played 4 games, scored 2 goals and 1 assist. He contributed to where they got to winning the FA Cup. Also, he was introduced in the 75th, 78th minute. He has not been a starter for Crystal Palace. He normally comes off the bench. But I say normally, this is what happens. When the opportunity arises, he's going to start. It's just a matter of time. If you ask, no, he wasn't a starter. You get my point. But then people believe that the fact that he's able to be in the winning team, Crystal Palace, to win the FA Cup, where they're going to play the Europa next season, then Addo should reconsider. Do you think it's the right move to do or the wrong move? Let me know your answers down below in the comments. Now, let's talk about Ayew. Now, Ayew plays in the French League with Le Havre. And Le Havre were struggling for survival in the French League 1. Now, they played against Marseille. It did not work. So they had only one mission for the game they played against Strasbourg, to win at all costs. And they won that game by 3-2. In that game, Ayew played 64 minutes and he was rated 6.6 by SofaScore. But after he got substituted, one thing he did that I really liked was the fact that he was on the touchline cheering the young players up. You know, Ayew, his agent. Now, most of these players look up to him because of what he has achieved in his footballing career. So for him to get substituted, be on the touchline with the other coaches, cheering the team up that we can do it, because we are playing against a Strasbourg team who are also vying to play in Europe next season. You get me? So both teams have their lives on the line. Both teams want to fight for something. And they did. And Le Havre worked away with all 3 points. And currently, they sit just above the relegation zone. They are not completely out, but currently they are safe. Currently, they have 34 points, which is just above the relegation zone. In their next few games, they need to make sure they do not concede, they do not lose at least a draw or probably a win in one of the last few games that we need to play to secure then a spot still in the French Ligue 1. But currently, they have 34 points and they're out of the relegation zone. And this is good for Ayew, who inspired his team to win against Strasbourg by 3-2. Now, let's move away from that and talk about Ibrahim Sullemana. Now, Ibrahim Sullemana in this past few days has been one popular player in Italy. Now, over the weekend, Atalanta played against Genoa. The game ended in a 3-2 win for Atalanta. And guess who scored again? Guess who scored again? Ibrahim Sullemana. He scored the goal again. So in 2 games, he has scored 2 goals for Atalanta. And in fact, that was his second start of the season. And I believe, Gasperini was like, see, he did not know Sullemana could play like this. It was like, this player has been on the bench for a very long time. He's going to use him more. And the player is showing his worth. And I think next season, he's going to be a regular starter for Atalanta. Looking at the way he is playing, he's playing extremely well. This is a player who could take ball from outside the 18-yard box and score brilliant goals. He has done it twice already. And he's becoming a fan favorite at Atalanta. I always tell you this, sometimes it's how you finish. The end always justifies the means. Now, nobody cares how you started. This player was not playing at the beginning of the season, but all of a sudden, getting to the end of the season, he is banging in goals. He's getting the attention of the fans and also the technical team, and he's being the talk of town if you go to Italy. And I'm happy for the player. Honestly, I'm really, really happy for Ibrahim Sullemana and what he's achieving at Atalanta. Next season, they play in the UCL. Currently, they sit 3rd in the Italian Serie A table. And I'm happy for the player and what he's achieving with the club. Now, let's move away from that and talk about Afriyie, another player that I admire a lot. He has been the talk of town. When you come to Ghana, everyone is talking about him. Now, this player is scoring goals for fun. We all know he was part of Ghana's squad for the AFCON that is being played currently in Egypt, which is the under-20. Now, with the Ghana team, he played the group stages, left camp, went back to his club side, CD logo, played for his club side, who is struggling for survival in the league, scored a goal for them, helped them win a game, returned back to Ghana's camp, played with Ghana. Unfortunately, Ghana gets eliminated, goes back to his club side, banks in another goal over the weekend, which is wild. Now, so far in the last 4 games, he has scored 2 goals and given 1 assist. In his last 4 games, 2 goals, 1 assist. And he was part of the goal scorers for CD Logo, who scored against Zamora. That game, they won by 2-0. And currently, they're fighting for survival. It is very, very important for them. They're fighting for survival. And the 18-year-old, he's showing his worth. He's on loan. He's on loan playing extremely well like this. And I won't be surprised in a few years, he turns up in a very big team in Europe because he's playing extremely well with full of confidence. Very strong player for us. I won't be surprised if Addo even hands in the call-up. Unity Cup, we are going to play in May against Nigeria. Now, let's move away from that and talk about Addo himself. Now, according to the communication director of the Ghana Football Association, Addo will be naming the squad for the Unity Cup this week. I was about to say next week. He said this last week. So Addo will be naming the squad this week. And from what we hear, there'll be a lot of new names in the squad. A lot of new players in the squad. There'll be the core team and also some local players for the friendly game. You also know we have some injuries in Nike Williams, Joseph Edu, Abdul Fattah Shahaku. All these players are injured. They will not be part of the squad. So definitely there will be new faces in the squad to justify their inclusion for Addo to call them for the next collab. So with this particular collab that Addo will be naming this week, expect to see new names, expect to see some local players in there, but then the core team definitely would be there. The likes of the Jordan, the Parteys, the Kudus, they'll all be part of the squad. So guys, that is the update coming from the Ghana Football Association stating that Addo will be naming the squad this week. Now, so guys, my last update has to do with this young player that plays for USG, Mohammed Fuseni, a very good player who over the weekend played for his club side USG against Royal Antwerp. They won that game by 4-0. He scored 2 goals, and this season so far, across all competition, he has scored 17 goals in 33 appearances. And I believe he's one player. If Addo is looking for new players to introduce into the Black Stars, he should consider this boy, Mohammed Fuseni. Good player by all standard. It's not like I'm hyping another player. This player, his number speaks for itself. Mohammed Fuseni's numbers speak for itself. He's doing extremely well with USG. And I just believe that he needs to be considered. If you are talking about players who are currently performing for their club side, this player is part of the top 10 when it comes to Ghanaian players. And I believe he deserves a shot with the national team. So guys, this is where I'm going to end it. Let me know your thoughts about all this down below in the comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and also turn on notification. My name is Adam. I will make sure to see you in the next one. Charlie, we go live.